Perhaps concentrating on a cup semi-final ahead, which will give Burnley a chance to get what will be a huge 3 points for them. Crystal Palace are not quite out of the woods yet, but they might well be if they defeat Huddersfield. Palace currently have 33 points, so a victory you would think would take them very close to safety. Let's get the team news ahead of this one from Dan McCarthy.
Crystal Palace host Huddersfield at Selhurst Park this afternoon, with Roy Hodgson's men still not entirely free from danger, and if they are to survive, they do need to improve their home form. Just 13 points on their own patch this term. They make 3 alterations from their FA Cup quarter-final loss to Watford. Wilfred Zaha returns from injury, along with Scott Dann and Patrick Van Aanholt. As for Huddersfield, the wrong set of results could officially seal their inevitable relegation, as Jan Sievert continues to experiment. 2 changes from their 4-3 loss at West Ham. Jonathan Hogg and Chris Schindler recover from injury and illness respectively. At Selhurst Park, it's Crystal Palace against Huddersfield.
And just a reminder that Huddersfield will be relegated mathematically if they lose that match and both Burnley and Southampton win. The final game of the afternoon has a little bit of a mid-table feel about it. Both Bournemouth and Leicester are comfortable, and they play each other at the King Power Stadium, where Ian St Peters is watching.
It's lost 1 and 1-2 for new Leicester City boss Brendan Rodgers as he continues to stamp his mark on the Foxes' fortunes. Rodgers brings in club captain Wes Morgan to replace Harry Maguire, who's serving a 1-match ban after being sent off in the 2-1 victory over Burnley last time out. With 38 points in the bag, Bournemouth boss Eddie Howe feels his side is still not safe from relegation. He makes 2 changes from the side that drew 2-2 with Newcastle a fortnight ago. Asmir Begovic replaces Artur Boric in goal, while Dan Gosling replaces Jordan Ibe. Leicester have never beaten Bournemouth in 7 Premier League attempts, but with the Cherries' current form showing 1 away win in 10, Rodgers and his revitalised Foxes will be hoping for another 3 points. Free beer and cakes to mark the birthday of late Leicester City owner Vichai Sravendanaprappa should ensure a cracking atmosphere at the King Power.
So that brings you up to date with all of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. There's some big games down there, Paul, in the relegation zone. I think, Fulham have lost again. They've got 17 points. We now expect them to go along with Huddersfield. So it looks like something like 1 from maybe 5 to go down. Now the winners of Southampton and Brighton, if there is a winner, will do themselves a power of good. Brighton would have 36 points. Southampton would have 33, 5 points. So that's potentially the key game, isn't it, today?
It's a big game because a point is no good to either. I would say, Brighton should win it, but Southampton, I think Hasenhüttl's a gambler. I really do. I think he's prepared to put the game at risk to win it. I really do, because I think and you've seen the way he's played. They play high tempo. They do take risks. So I think if it's 0-0 or 1-0, I think he will go and try and win the game.
What about Burnley? It's a funny season they've had. They started off in the Europa League. Let's not forget they finished 7th last season, and everybody's still waiting for the Europa League hangover to subside, and it still hasn't. And they're in big trouble, and they need to beat Wolves, don't they?
They're in huge trouble. They really are. They've got to beat Wolves, as far as I'm concerned. Cardiff have a game in hand over them as well. So, and there's not much in it. But they've struggled. 4 defeats on the bounce, and they seem to have a soft centre where they were always very combative, very competitive, difficult, tough nut to crack. Only conceded the odd goal. It was always a difficult place to go and play football at Turf Moor. But all of a sudden, the floodgates have opened, and they're getting beaten, well beaten.
Yeah, they certainly haven't dragged themselves out of it. If they lose, Cardiff, of course, as you mentioned, they do have a game in hand. Cardiff play tomorrow. It's a tough one, though. They're at home to Chelsea. That one kicks off at 2:05 local time. And then, of course, tomorrow we've got a big one up at the top with Liverpool, who've now been supplanted on top of the table by Manchester City at home to Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Spurs, of course, are looking forward to moving into their new ground. There's another test event this weekend, but Tottenham are struggling a little bit. And then on Monday night, Arsenal, who are in the battle with Spurs to try and get into Champions League places, are at home to Newcastle. What all that means for Manchester United is that with Spurs, Arsenal and Chelsea all not playing, if United win today, they'd move up a place above Arsenal and level on points with Tottenham. So this is a big game for Manchester United at Old Trafford this afternoon. Let's get the thoughts of the two managers. We've mentioned them both. They've both had great seasons. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Javi Gracia.
When I got the job, we were 11 points behind fourth. Now we've given ourselves a great chance to be in the top 4 and even top 3. So that's got to be the short-term target in the league, and Premier League is vital for us.
I think they have a very good squad and they can achieve whatever they want. In this moment they are living a good moment. I think they carry on in Champions League. They are playing well in Premier, and I think they are in a good position to improve and to grow. They have good players. They have all they need.
So those are the thoughts of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Javi Gracia. And as we were saying, Paul, I mean, you know, Manchester United, yes, they've got the Champions League, and you made the point off there to me earlier that, you know, Solskjaer, you know, it's not just sentiment. This is Manchester United. They feel they belong in the Champions League. Most people, even non-United fans, would feel that they belong in the Champions League, and it is absolutely crucial that they get into it. And if they win today, psychologically, Arsenal will be behind them, Chelsea further behind them, and they'll be neck and neck with Spurs.
Yes, it puts pressure on everyone else. So they've got to win. If they can win and win well, and you know, like a marker performance, a statement performance, that puts pressure on the other sides. And you know, there's some big games coming up over this weekend, and you know, it's important for teams to get their job done. You can look at others and say if, but, and maybe, but you've got to take care of your business today, and that starts with Manchester United registering a win today at home to Watford.
Yeah, they do need to do that. Great atmosphere. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we just saw a close-up, actually. There's a little group of Norwegian fans with Ole Manchester United scarves and the Norwegian flag. I mean, I was hearing a Norwegian broadcaster saying today that never mind anything else, never mind, you know, what's happening in the world, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer becoming the manager of Manchester United is the number one story in Norway, not just in sport, but in news as well.
Without doubt. I mean, it's a wonderful story and a wonderful job, but he's had to work for it. He's definitely had to work for it. He's had to work his socks off. He's had to put a smile back on their faces, but tactically he also knows his stuff. You know, he's gone to places in the Premier League, Spurs and what have you, and played really well. So, you know, it's not just about sentiment. You know, it's not romanticism of the game. It's real, you know, rolling your sleeves up and digging in, and he's done it really well.
Yep. Spring has arrived at Old Trafford and elsewhere in England. The clocks go forward tonight in this country, which means that we all lose an hour's sleep. But the bonus is that tomorrow night we'll get an extra hour's daylight. It's shirt sleeve order at Old Trafford. Manchester United celebrating their first game under the official managership of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The two sets of teams are in the tunnel. Watford are wearing a change strip of all green. They will want to end this hoodoo. They've never won a league game on this ground. Can they spoil Solskjaer's party? We'll find out in just a moment. You're listening to Premier League Live.
The Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. Is the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends a shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4,
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester United against Watford from Old Trafford. I'm your host, John Anderson. Alongside me is the former Crystal Palace, Aston Villa and Charlton winger Paul Mortimer. This is Premier League Live. So, a new era begins for one of the greatest clubs in world football. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is now officially in charge of Manchester United, and his first assignment is fittingly at home and against Watford, who themselves have been having a terrific season with an FA Cup semi-final 8 days away. 8th in the Premier League. The two sets of players just lining up mixed arm in arm for the photographs, but it'll be down to business in just a moment. The referee today is Stuart Atwell. Now, Watford fans will remember him as the manager who awarded a goal against them that never was.
Remember
against
that,
Reading,
the ghost goal.
There was a corner and the ball was headed wide and it nestled in the side netting, and he gave a goal and then wouldn't be persuaded, and it ended up 2-2. And I'm told that Watford fans are planning to sort of shout goal every time there's a corner and the ball goes wide. So he's under a little bit of pressure. But anyway, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wearing a smart black Manchester United suit with a V-neck jumper and a red tie, takes his seat in the dugout. This is his 20th game in charge of this club. They've only lost 3 of those previous 19, but of course 2 of those have come in recent weeks at Arsenal in the league, and more worryingly perhaps given the poor performance against Wolves in the FA Cup. And that means that it is Wolves and not Manchester United who will meet Watford at Wembley next weekend. But the Hornets concentrating on trying to finish as high as they can in the Premier League. There is still the possibility, of course, of European football for them next season, something they've only ever once tasted in the club's history. We're underway. Manchester United are wearing red shirts, black shorts and red socks. Watford are all in green. These are how the two teams line up. United have David De Gea in goal. Ashley Young once off Watford. He started his career at the club. Chris Smalling, Phil Jones and Luke Shaw across the back four. Then it's Ander Herrera, Paul Pogba and Nemanja Matic up front. Juan Mata, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. Romelu Lukaku is among the substitutes, another who missed international matches in midweek. Watford have Ben Foster in goal, a former Manchester United player, of course. The back four is completely changed. It's Daryl Janmaat, Miguel Britos, Christian Cabecele and Adam Messina, the player they bought from Bologna at the start of the season. Across midfield, Will Hughes, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Etienne Capoue and Roberto Pereira. Troy Deeney and Gerard Deulofeu, both of whom have been in terrific form with both goals and assists recently, are the front two as Jones just feeds the ball back to David De Gea, wearing all orange today. Phil Jones has had a few games out with illness and injury, but is back today. Here's Deulofeu feeding Deeney. Deeney trying to wriggle away forward to get a shot, but it's repelled by Manchester United, only as far as Hughes, who does well. Watford get the ball in from the right-hand side. It's sliced away by Ashley Young. Abdoulaye Doucouré will keep things alive for Watford, who started brightly here. This is Adam Messina. Back to Doucouré, who's the subject of transfer speculation, and I'm sure will be even more so in the summer. He's been linked with Paris Saint-Germain. And he's picked up the ball in midfield. It's not a great start by United, is it?
If the fans wanted to know whether this was going to be a tough game, this start will tell you, because it appears that Watford are going to compete, especially in the middle of the park. They're going to put their foot in. Doucouré and Capoue are going to run things, and it looks like, they've made a great start.
Yeah, well, they don't get careful. Here's Deulofeu into the United box, tries to get it across to Deeney, and Smalling did well, only clears as far as Hughes though. Hughes back in towards Pereira. It's cleared by United, and eventually Messina just heads the ball behind, but Deulofeu was the recipient of a careless pass there by Manchester United, and almost set up Deeney.
Well, the thing about it is, it's a great reverse pass played into him. It was by Will Hughes. If he turns and plays it first time, Deeney's in front of goal, but that little time he waited for the ball meant Chris Smalling could get back in, and he means business. Deulofeu, he's taking his gloves off, yes. So he definitely means business.
It's not even cold. I don't know why he's got them on in the first place. Frank, he's got a problem with his boots.
Yeah, he's taking his boots off to try and boots.
And he's cutting. He's wearing
got leggings,
and he's getting rid of them. He's obviously too hot. It's ridiculous.
It's the weirdest.
Has he not been out and warmed up and checked what the temperature? Well, it's not snowing in Manchester. It's bright sunshine.
I don't know. He must have warmed up in tracksuit, gloves, and scarf and everything.
He's Spanish. He's just from Barcelona. Deary me, I've seen it all. Now he's still trying to cut.
He's cutting the leggings off.
Watford are down to 10 men, while
it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Is having the leggings snipped away from his
at the knee, isn't it? Yeah, it's the weirdest thing.
Make it up. Anyway, they'll be keen to get him back on the field, because he's already been influential. Here's Pereira, and Watford have had all of the possession in the opening 4 minutes of this game. Here's Doucouré. I was going to mention him and Capoue. Quite a few people are saying that Doucouré and Capoue in that position as a double act sitting deep are among the best in the division.
They're very good. I've seen them. I saw them play at West Ham, where they beat West Ham 2-0. They were magnificent. Just ran the game, just controlled the midfield. And if they do that today, this is going to be a difficult game for United.
It will be. The ball is back with Solskjaer, De Gea, and lofted forward. De Gea is the only ever-present player in the Manchester United team, and Ben Foster, who's just cleared the ball rather carelessly upfield with his left foot now to play, is the only Watford player who's ever present this season. So the two goalkeepers have plenty of experience. Ben Foster actually turns 36 on Wednesday, but according to many again, they're saying he's one of the best goalkeepers in England, and had he not retired from international football, might well have been in Gareth Southgate's plan.
I think he would have, but I think the reason he retired was because he knew at that stage the England squad was a closed shop. You go, but you know you have no chance. It's changed now, because under Gareth Southgate, every player knows going that they have a chance of performing.
Here's Doucouré coming forward for Watford, who've been very impressive in the opening 5 minutes. This is Adam Messina down the line to Roberto Pereira. Nice turn by the Uruguayan. Doucouré will shoot, and he scraped his shot wide. He perhaps should have gone for the far post rather than the near. It was a good opening for Watford. They're set up nicely by Pereira, and Doucouré just got it all wrong really with the shot.
Well, they've cut Manchester United open beautifully. Pereira is magnificent. The ball comes to Doucouré, and there's a lack of composure. I think the lights start flashing. He gets all excited. He can see himself putting it in the top corner and completely screws the shot because he's panicked. That's a chance. At this level, he passes it into the far corner. They're 1-0 up.
Yeah, it wasn't a very composed finish from a player who's got 3 goals this season. He scored last season actually in a hugely entertaining match between these two sides at Vicarage Road, where Manchester United went 3-0 up, and then I think Doucouré got a second goal for Watford, which made it 3-2 before Lingard put it out of their grasp. I mean, they haven't been thrashed by United in recent weeks. Javi Gracias made the point that they've been competitive in recent games against United. The last 2 games here have finished 1-0. They were only beaten by 2 goals to 1 at Vicarage Road in September. But
games are tight.
Yeah, it's strange though, isn't it? These hoodoos that clubs have anyway. Here's Deeney finding Hughes. Deulofeu leaves it for Hughes. Hughes to Pereira. Pereira to Doucouré. And then Deeney back in, headed away at full stretch by Jones. United are absolutely second best at the moment, and they haven't cleared well. Here's Britos finding Pereira, left-hand side, looking to take on Herrera. Herrera beats him and gets to the byline. Played in both of Argentina's recent games. Britos with the cross, not a good one. Away by Smalling, back in by Capu. And then a lovely little flick by Adam Messina, but United still can't clear it properly. Doucouré, midway inside the United half, finds Capu inside the centre circle. It's been played out wide to Miguel Britos, the Uruguayan, and now Pereira. Well, United have still failed to clear. Deeney shoots, and it's off target, but Watford are asking all the questions.
Well, they are, because what they're doing is as soon as they give the ball away, they are snapping into the tackle and winning it back straight away. You could hear Ashley Young screaming at his teammates, just calm down a little bit, and that's all they need to do, just take a breath.
Well, there's been a goal at Turf Moor. It's a big important game, Burnley against Wolves. Let's hear which way it's gone with Andrew Self.
Free kick's lofted in, Woods got in behind, chance here for 1-0, it is 1-0! Well, Wolverhampton Wanderers were asleep. 80 seconds on the clock. One quick free kick taken very quickly. Wood steals in behind the back four of Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Well, there you are. Big goal for Burnley. Early on at Turf Moor. Early on here, Watford are defending well, and United have barely been in the Watford half. Rashford, I think, his first touch of the game a moment ago, and he was dispossessed.
Yeah. And what they are is they're aggressive. Doucouré and Capu aren't frightened to put their foot in, and they are, and they're making it really difficult. Getting the ball to Hughes and Pereira and Deulofeu, who keep it well. Technicians in the middle of the park make it difficult.
That's a good ball. Here's Rashford using his pace. He's onside. First time United have been inside the Watford penalty area, and it was a good challenge by Christian Cavaselli to make sure that Rashford couldn't get around him to the byline, but United, having barely featured in this game, have its first corner on 9 minutes.
Not a bad thing for Watford, because it just reminds them, before we start thinking that we're in the ascendancy, this is the threat that Manchester United pose with Rashford and Martial in behind.
10th minute then, United have a chance to take what would be a lead against the run of play from the corner. Ashley Young, who scored twice in that 4-2 win for United at Watford last season, which I mentioned, is going to take the corner. It's towards Smalling, who scored this season against Watford at Vicarage Road in September. In fact, that was his last goal in the Premier League. Chris Smalling, he made it 2-0. Andre Gray, who's had a habit of coming off the bench and scoring important goals for Watford in recent weeks, cut the deficit at Vicarage Road in September, but United held on for the win.
It's one of them where he's got to divert it back across. There's not enough power on the ball for him to beat Ben Foss. He's got to divert it for someone else, and he couldn't do it.
Watford have an awful record away from home since they returned to the Premier League against Big Six clubs. Would you believe they've only taken 4 points out of a possible 66?
Wow.
It's extraordinary.
That's scary.
Here's Rashford, good tackle by Miguel Britos, the uncompromising Uruguayan centre-half. He's brought down by Juan Mata on the near side. It's a free kick to Watford. Just a reminder, Burnley 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. That could be a big game goal for Burnley. And Connor Cody, the Wolverhampton Wanderers defender, has been credited with an own goal at Turf Moor. It came on only 2 minutes. Ben Foster, wearing all blue, back on a ground where he made 23 appearances for Manchester United early in his career. He won a League Cup winners' medal with them in 2009, started the final that year. Here's Pereira, muscled off the ball by Herrera, but Deulofeu was into the box, and a good challenge by Jones to get the ball away. And I don't think I've mentioned Paul Pogba.
No, he's not been in the game. It's been too quick for him.
The ball.
Yeah, it's been too quick for him. He hasn't been able to get on the ball. They're very sharp and snappy in the tackle. When they lose the ball, Watford, they're working so hard to win it back quickly.
Delafeu, edge of the box, plays a lovely ball out wide, and the ball is clipped in by Janmaat and scraped away by De Gea after Deeney had knocked it down. And because De Gea's injured, the referee is going to stop play. The Watford fans aren't very happy about that because the ball had gone out of the box and they were just about to launch another attack again. It was United in trouble at the back.
I wouldn't be happy with that, but it's a wonderful save from De Gea, I have to say. They need to wake up, don't they? Watford have been absolutely superb and composed in their attack, I've got to say. Ball clipped to the far post, he touches it down. Deeney, and it's a great save. I don't know what he's done. Has Decore caught him as he's landed on the floor, or has De Gea landed awkwardly?
I'm not sure.
I don't know
much. You couldn't really tell. They went in together. I mean, it was as you say, it was a good save. Decore might have put it into the net.
He's caught him. Decore's caught him.
He certainly didn't.
He's looking at the ball. Yeah.
But De Gea has injured his left ankle. Now this will be of deep concern to Manchester United, not necessarily in the short term, but in the long term. And I think De Gea's going to be okay.
He'll be fine, but it helps them because they've got to clear their heads.
They've got some massive games ahead. They've got Barcelona home and away, and towards the end of the month, Manchester City at home, and then Chelsea at home. Rashford is getting instructions from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who so far has been watching his team hopelessly underperforming against a rampant Watford side who've played extremely well.
Totally outplayed at the moment. They've been brilliant, but it's 0-0. And when you play against United and you're on top, you have to take any chances that come along, because you know Man United can play better.
Foster with the long clearance, Deeney up there. He wins so many balls in the air for Watford. Troy Deeney hasn't won this one though. Ander Herrera slips in trying to play the ball forward, and it's picked up by Messina. And now Etienne Capoue, the scorer in the quarter-final win against Crystal Palace that took Watford to Wembley.
I think, I look at it as a strange selection of Mata, because these kind of games are not the ones for him, where they're competitive and it's very physical. They're not normally, because what he struggles with is finding space in these type of games, which has been the case so far, getting the ball to him, because he can't run away from anyone with the ball.
Here's Matic, square to Smalling. What United really need to do is just get their foot on the ball, string a few passes together. They're doing that at the moment with Mata finally finding Pogba, who's on the ball, centre midfield, short ball to Martial, another we'd barely mentioned. He was unavailable for France, but is available for his club. Here's Nemanja Matic for United. Swinging the play across to the near side. Ashley Young controls it and then swirls it long. It's too long. It's gone beyond Marcus Rashford, and it'll go out of play close to the corner flag on the far side. Watford in decent form. In all competitions, they won 5 of their last 7. Their last 12 in the Premier League read 1-4, drawn 4, lost 4. I think they've only lost 3 of their last 14 games in all comps, and they were against teams of the quality of Spurs, Liverpool and Manchester City. What Watford have done this season well is they've got good results against what you might call teams of their own
type.
Right.
They've mopped up the points on those, and that's what puts them up there. If they could get, if they could turn a defeat into a draw against the bigger sides, that would give them so much more confidence.
The only real thrashing was against Liverpool. 5-0 recently at Anfield. Here's Rashford off the shins of Britos for a throw-in right by the corner flag on the near side. The United fans have been noticeably quiet. Let's go to the King Power, Leicester Bournemouth. Or shall we? No, let's wait to tell you actually that Leicester have gone in front against Bournemouth. It's not a particularly crucial game, that one. Wes Morgan, the Leicester captain's got the goal there. It's 1-0 to Leicester City. Throw-in is taken by United, appeals for handball, it's given against Juan Mata. So let's hear about that goal at the King Power with Ian St. Peters.
There's a chance for Chilwell. Will he try a shot? You see where it's flicked in? And it's the goal! The first goal to Leicester City by the restored captain, Wes Morgan.
So Wes Morgan pops up with a goal for Leicester early on to mid-table sides. Not a huge amount at stake there. There certainly is here for Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking rather stern as he sits back in his seat next door to Mike Phelan.
It's understandable. They've not performed yet, not played well at all. But again, Watford have to make this period count.
Here's Decore coming forward for Watford, trying to find Delafeu. It was well cut out by Jones, who almost presented it back to Delafeu, but it found its way somehow through to Herrera. But again, United with Rashford have conceded possession. Decore to Herrera now. Pereira to Hughes. Hughes wondering whether to shoot or try and play a ball forward. Shoots in the end. It's easily blocked by United, who might counter here with Paul Pogba, who finds Juan Mata. The referee Stuart Atwell plays a good advantage, and it's through to Rashford, but Foster has read it quickly and is out to the edge of his penalty area with his left foot, has side-footed it away. But yes, the referee may well bring it back for a yellow card after the initial foul on Paul Pogba, and that's what he does, and Will Hughes goes into the book.
That tackle was probably best at Twickenham, I would probably say, because he's nowhere near. Literally, yep, it's a rugby tackle. It literally is. Brought him down with his hands.
Don't forget Twitter, of course. In all the action that's been happening, I haven't really had a chance to glance at my screen very often, but let us know where you're listening to us and what your thoughts are on this match, and we'll try and read out as many as we can. But at the moment, Manchester United's fans are rather sullen and disappointed with what they're seeing. You'd have expected maybe there'd be a spring in their step with the news that Solskjaer had got the job full time. Anyway, here's Martial, far side, clever ball to Shaw. Shaw right to the byline, dreadful cross. It didn't find Rashford, and Britos was there just to sweep it away. It was initially good, very good work indeed by Martial and Shaw, but the cross didn't match what had gone before.
Well, yeah, I mean, great running, a miss. Communication with Janma and I think Will Hughes allows Shaw down, takes a touch which beats everyone, and then doesn't find his play. What I like about Watford is Rashford is getting no change out of their centre halves, Britos and Kabasele.
Yeah.
He's tight. He's tightly marked the whole game so far.
Here's Herrera. We'll have to be careful. Britos is not the quickest. Kabasele is slightly quicker centre-half than the Uruguayan. Here's Herrera winning possession back for Watford. And Decore, who is still the subject of speculation. They hung on to him in the January transfer window, but there is talk of bigger clubs coming in for him. He's made clear his desire, an understandable desire, to play in the Champions League. Here's Delafeu, edge of the United penalty area. Toe pokes it across to Roberto Pereira. The Argentinian plays it back to Delafeu, who looks for space for a shot, doesn't find it. Pogba is there just to poke it away, and Ashley Young's clearance goes straight to Etienne Capoue. Capoue tried to swing it away to Hughes. It's a good ball. It's Will Hughes finding Daryl Janmaat. Janmaat with a cross on the turn. Deeney's there, Delafeu, and then Pereira, who gets his shot on target, but it wasn't a powerful one. And diving to his right-hand side, David De Gea made a pretty comfortable save, but again it was good work by Watford to set the chance
up.
What
they're doing, Watford, is they're getting into really good positions, but the ball is just not being set up correctly for a shot. Yeah. There, Pereira, if he can take a touch out of his feet, Delafeu too had an opportunity. If he takes it out of his feet, then he can get a shot in. Good play, really good play. I mean, Watford 58% possession, but they've got to make it count.
Yeah, they do. Because United can be ruthless, as we know. Here's Decore coming forward. It's another good move by Watford. Deeney, terrific ball to Decore. Decore to Hughes, not such a good ball. Matic read it, yeah. Maybe should have gone longer and into the box, Decore. Instead, he's having to backtrack as Juan Mata has crossed the halfway line for Manchester United on the far side. Just touches it through to Martial, back to Mata again. Mata's got a history of scoring in this fixture. Scored with a free kick in a game which Watford played well in a few years ago. I think it was Watford's first season in the Premier League. They dominated the game, and then Mata scored a free kick right at the end. Here's Luke Shaw forward to Martial, and now Martial looking to pick it up again. Kabasele does well once more for Watford, sliding in and making a well-timed challenge to get the ball out of play for a throw on the far side.
I like them. They're incredibly robust in their tackle. I mean, you know, that tackle from Kabasele, perfectly good tackle, but it's one of those that reminds Martial that there's a game to be played, and that Watford aren't going to be a pushover today.
Well, here's Luke Shaw finding Matic. Matic to Herrera. Herrera tries to find his Spanish compatriot Mata. He can't do so. Kabasele, who's been very solid at the heart of Watford's new look defence today. He's changed the entire back four. You can bet the likes of Cathcart and Holebas will be back for the Cup semi-final. Kiko Femenia, who's been injured, started the game against Crystal Palace and may replace Jan Mutt. Here's Delafeu out wide to Troy Deeney. Deeney's got Decore in the middle, the cross deflects and it's gone behind for Watford's first corner of the game with 22 minutes gone.
And that's the type of thing I'm saying. Deeney's crossing it from the right. Watford are 2v2 in the box, so if he puts it up there to be attacked, there's a chance of a shot on goal, but it gets blocked by a Man United defender. So it's that final ball, that final pass. They're getting into really good positions in and around Manchester United's box, but they're not making them count. And with 20 into the 22nd minute, they may rue this start where they haven't taken any chances.
Absolutely. They do have a corner though, and it's going to be a left-footed in-swinger courtesy of the Italian Adam Messina. It's headed away firmly by Rashford. Decore on the volley just clips it across to Hughes, who volleys it up. It's awkward for United defending. He's underneath it. Smalling gets the better of him. Delafeu goes down, wants a free kick. He's not going to get one. And Pogba plays it out of defence for Manchester United. Here's Juan Mata. Clever ball down the line. Martial trapped by Jan Mutt. Martial into the Watford box, looking to go to the byline. And good play by Jan Mutt, who got in front of Martial, who's complaining, but unjustifiably in my opinion. I just think Jan Mutt took him stride for stride, so poked the ball back. I think he may be claiming that it was a back pass by Jan Mutt. I'm not sure it was.
No, I don't think it was. I've got to say, I don't think it was. It's great defending from Jan Mutt, I've got to say. And then you see Juan Mata push the ref, which was a little bit strange. I mean, they are flustered United. They really are. Watford have been brilliant. They really have.
Really good. Over the top it goes. Messina on the flank for Watford, left-hand side. Can't get past Matic, though. It wasn't a very convincing attempt by the Italian, was it, to get it past Nemanja Matic? Here's Ander Herrera. It just comes off the boot of Messina. He's playing at left-back today. Jose Holebas got injured against Crystal Palace and has not been risked by Javi Gracia today, understandably. Watford have lost their last 4 games against Manchester United. Would you believe 13 of the last 14 league meetings they've lost? They've only ever beaten them once in the Premier League, and that was a couple of seasons ago at home when they won 3-1. Here's Will Hughes for Watford, and now Decore, not a great first touch, tries to shoot.
I think actually thought he was still playing for Watford, didn't he? What was he trying? A crossfield pass from the right back position.
Here's Delafeu, edge of the penalty area. No room for a shot yet. He does shoot now. It's low and hard, but straight at David De Gea, who had no problems whatsoever. But United haven't really created a chance yet. They're at home, and we've had nearly 25 minutes.
They've not been allowed to. This isn't about Man United attacking poorly. Watford have been at their business. They've really worked hard.
Pogba does shoot. It's very ambitious. Cavaselle's in the way and heads it out of play on the far side.
Well, if he scores from there, I'll eat my hat. I mean, he's never scoring from there. But no. I just think it's one of these games where Pogba can't shine in this kind of game because he needs time and space on the ball, and they are not allowing him time and space. And then the more touches he takes, they crowd him out, and he becomes somewhat of a liability in games like this.
25 minutes. Watford have had 5 attempts on goal. United have had 2. I'm struggling to remember those, to be honest. Neither of United's efforts have been on target. Here's Pogba, centre midfield, one of the players who's certainly shone since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over. He's been a big figure for the new manager. Here's Young. Back to Chris Smalling. Cute sports guy, that's at OSG Nelson, driving the interstates of the southeastern United States in amongst tall trees and very few cars. Took too long for United to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job full time, but glad they did. Have a good call, Jarl. I like that. Here's Martial. Oh, he's gone down looking for a penalty. It hasn't been given. Now, if there's no penalty there, I think he should be booked for a dive. Pogba plays the ball in. It's headed away by Watford. Here's Deeney just trying to caress it over the top. Now, what's the referee going to do here?
I think Pogba's a foul.
I think if Martial was not given a penalty there, That's a dive.
It's a blatant dive, and it's a booking, to be truthfully honest.
No question whatsoever.
That's the kind of dive that deserves a booking.
Yes,
that's
I
a booking.
agree.
That should be a
Absolutely
booking.
right. And then he handballed it.
No business. They're the ones that retrospectively a player should get in trouble for, because he's trying to con the ref. Simple as that.
Absolutely, it's cheating.
If I push you in your shoulder, there's no reason why your legs should collapse.
No.
Not the way that happened. I'm sorry, there isn't. And you know what he's tried to do. He's tried to con the ref. And it's disgraceful. It really is. And he should be treated as harshly as possible.
Might happen on a Saturday when I've had a few pints for you.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
Here's Roberto Pereira. Watford still not able to get a goal to underline their superiority so far, but it's been worked through cleverly towards Pereira, away by Ander Herrera. Herrera and Pereira are having quite a battle, which is making things difficult for me. Here's Luke Shaw, though, coming forward down the left-hand side for United and playing an excellent ball into Rashford. This is United's chance to go ahead, and they've taken it. And for all Watford's dominance, they've been sliced apart on the counter-attack by Manchester United. And Marcus Rashford, who got the winning goal in this fixture in May, has got the opening goal. The first goal since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was confirmed as full-time manager. They're a little bit lucky, but it's Manchester United 1, Watford 0.
Well, first of all, it's a wonderful interception from Luke Shaw on the edge of his box, wins the ball from Troy Deeney, takes a touch, drives on, and then it's a great run. Now, they didn't heed the warning. If you remember, 7 or 8, 10 minutes ago, the exact same thing happened, and they managed to clear it. This time round, 2v1, no one is really marking Rashford. And the space is in front. It's a great ball, really good ball, quality ball for him to take a touch, and he's still got a bit to do. Puts it in the net beautifully, but Watford flying forward, and they've really not concentrating at the back, and that's often the case. When you're in the ascendancy, you're attacking really well, you throw people forward, and you kind of forget that actually there's a huge part of the game called defending, and that's what they did.
I mean, you've been saying it for a while. Will Watford rue the fact that they haven't turned their dominance into goals? Answer, yes. Great goal. Sure, wonderful ball. Defence-splitting pass. Rashford, we know, is too quick for the likes of Britos, and he tucked it away beautifully, didn't he? He just drew Foster, dinked it beyond him. Good
but John, that's the problem. That's why they both know at the back centre-halves haven't got any pace. So you can't put yourself in a position where you are in a race with Rashford. There's only going to be one winner every time.
It's the third time that Marcus Rashford has scored in his relatively young career against Watford. The game last season was a bit of an end-of-season affair, which didn't really amount to very much for either side particularly, but he got the winning goal there. This one came in the 28th minute of this game. Watford haven't scored in 4 visits to Old Trafford, so they'll have to improve on that record if they're to get something out of the game. Here's Martial. This is a pattern with Watford, Manchester United. Often Watford do match United in games, but so rarely are they able to find a way through.
You'd be surprised, like you said, this has probably happened, like you said, on numerous occasions.
Here's Rashford again. Let's fly. It's blocked by Britos and bounces kindly for Watford, and Doucouré will stretch his legs and cross halfway and find Deeney, and Deeney's produced an excellent ball. Here's Gerard Deulofeu. Can they strike back immediately? No. He made a mess of it. He tried to guide it past Jones with the outside of his right foot and put too much on it. Jones has covered, put the ball out of play far side. We've had half an hour at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Watford 0. Doesn't really tell the story of that opening 30 minutes at all. All it tells you really is that Manchester United have soaked up an awful lot of pressure and caught Watford with one break, but that's what the situation is. Here's Janmaat with the throw, finding Deulofeu. Janmaat from the far side, his cross is blocked by Shaw, whose assist for that goal was absolutely magnificent. Luke Shaw is one of the 2 players on the pitch who are currently on 9 yellow cards. If he were booked today, he would miss Manchester United's next 2 league games. Etienne Capoue of Watford is in the same boat. They have changed the rules, which mean that you can only serve a suspension in the competition you get the booking in. Here's Rashford for United, so Capoue won't miss the semi-final even if he is booked today, but he will miss the next 2 Premier League games. Here is Shaw, far side, finding Pogba. That goal might well lift United. And here's Mata out to Shaw again, and now Anthony Martial into Mata. Mata back to Martial. Martial into the box, trying to get past Jan Mat. Couldn't do so. The former Newcastle right back stuck out his boot and just flicked the ball away for a corner, but suddenly the pendulum has swung in United's favour, hasn't it?
Yep, and he's got past him, Martial, and then gone back. I mean, again, this bit is not about Man United, it's about Watford. It's about whether it's the body blow has really impacted on them, and it looks like it has. Manchester United, you know what you're going to get. But now they're being allowed to get away with it. Oh dear.
A second corner, and it's taken quickly, and Martial fires it. Brilliant save by Ben Foster. Watford got in a tangle from the corner. The ball broke to Anthony Martial. It was an inviting opportunity. Not good play by Doucouré, who knocked it into the path of Martial, but my goodness me, what a save by Ben Foster with his legs, and it stays Manchester United 1, Watford 0.
Well, it's kamikaze defending. Along the goal line, Juan Mata's managed to get in and cut a ball back in the 6-yard box from a corner. That should never happen.
Here's Pogba finding Mata. United are beginning to purr a little bit now, having got that goal from Rashford. It was Rashford's 13th goal of the season, incidentally, and his third in 4 games. Delafeu's offside, trying to burst through. Rashford has scored in United's 2 most recent matches that they have scored in.
You know, that's lazy play from Delafeu. Poor defending from Chris Smalling, because if he stays in his half, he's in. I really can't work it out. Chris Smalling is woeful defending, I've got to say. He doesn't even know where Delafeu is.
I've got some clarification here on Twitter. Cute Sports Guide says Yarn is the southern second person plural of you, a contraction of you all. Wishing you both a good call behind the mic. Thank you. I didn't know that because I went to Atlanta for the Olympics and we stayed in a hotel, and every night when we went to the bar, the barmaid always used to say, "What can I get, y'all?" And it just became a bit of a phrase that we use. Lovely, great stuff down there. Thanks for that. Here's Luke Shaw finding Mata inside the box. Little back heel, doesn't find Shaw. It's clipped away by Jan Mat up towards Delafeu. Dini and Matic coming together. Delafeu stayed on the deck. Now, what Watford do not want under any circumstances are injuries, because they've got that huge game at Wembley coming up, and Delafeu is holding his elbow. He just got in a bit of a tangle with Matic. He landed on him. Sorry, it's Jones, not Matic. He's landed on him now. Delafeu is holding his face. He's got a nosebleed. Yeah. But in some ways, that's a good thing, because a nosebleed is fixable.
You can deal with
quickly.
that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
As long as he's not concussed at all.
He'd be more worried if he twisted his ankle. Or, I mean, I'm not wishing anyone a nosebleed, but we're watching the goal again. It was a superlative ball by Shaw, and Rashford took it beautifully.
Great goal, great finish. But Watford, Javi Gracias will be fuming, because the one thing he will have said is look out for their pace when we are attacking, because as soon as we give the ball away, Rashford is going to be on his way. They were warned 5 minutes before that, didn't pay attention to it, and it's cost them in a half where they've been the best side.
I mean, you could argue that we're approaching half-time here. United weren't great against Arsenal. They were awful against Wolves. They haven't been very good here.
No, they haven't. And that goal was definitely against the run of play. But the thing is, not United can get better. It's going to be about what more Watford have got. Because they put a lot of energy into this half, into shutting the ball down, into closing United down, into denying them space, into really being competitive and combative. And sometimes, come 60 minutes, they may fatigue because they've put that much effort in.
Alex Ferguson is here. We're getting a close-up of him on our monitors while we wait for Delafeu to get sorted out. Sir Alex, of course, lifted the Premier League trophy in his final season in charge. They haven't won it since. We have had 4 managers since then, with varying degrees of lack of success, really. I mean, David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
But they've not been great.
No.
They've not. I know Mourinho won stuff, but they've not really been great. They've not served United well.
I think what you'd say about Solskjaer, in comparison to the others, he's more kind of in the spirit of the club, the way Manchester United fans want football to be played, that what they demand from their team is entertainment. I think Mourinho clearly didn't provide. I don't think Moyes did particularly, and Van Gaal. I mean, they had a degree of success. Did they won a cup, didn't they? But anyway, Gerard Deulofeu is going to come back on with two huge cotton buds, one stuck up each nostril.
It's going to be difficult for him to breathe, by the way. I mean, I've done that before, where you've had something put in your nose. It becomes very, very, because you've got to breathe out your mouth all the time. That's very difficult.
It is. Here's Britos. Oh, it's not a good header. And Rashford will latch onto the loose ball. He's over on the far side of the field, level with the edge of the penalty area. He finds Paul Pogba. Pogba to Shaw into the box, a flick on by Herrera, chance for Martial, but Messina was there just to block it. Martial had his eyes on the ball and was looking to swing his boot in a volley. I'll tell you one thing that United perhaps have done well today, I think, is that Chris Smalling is winning most of the aerial duels with Troy Deeney, which is not an easy thing, as Deeney's excellent in the air.
He's been good, but what's changed is all those little battles where the ball was being competed for. Early on in the game, they were all landing at Watford's feet.
Here's Martial trying to play a 1-2 with Rashford. Martial's return ball was overhit, and Ben Foster was very happy just to let the ball run out of play before the Manchester United goal scorer could get to the byline. At 38 minutes at Old Trafford. Not many goals in the Premier League at the moment. Just 3 of them. One here. Still Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0. Wes Morgan on 11 minutes. And still Burnley 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Connor Cody with a very early own goal. Crystal Palace 0, Huddersfield 0. Just a reminder that if Huddersfield lose and Burnley and Southampton both win, at the moment Burnley are winning, but Southampton are being held at Brighton, Huddersfield Town would be relegated. I mean, it is just a when rather than if. I mean, I think they're in the process of trying to avoid unwanted records at the moment. Fewest goals scored, earliest in the calendar year for being relegated from the Premier League. I think if they did go down today, that would be the earliest ever.
It probably would. I mean,
Derby, I think, but it's the same weekend basically. Here's Hughes finding Deulofeu, who's on the right-hand side. It's not a very good ball by him. It's cut out by Manchester United's Mata.
Got to be better there.
Shaw. And then Matic and now Pogba. United just look so much comfortable since they went in front. Here's Martial looking to take on Kabasele. He's into the box, flicks it out to Mata. Mata back to Martial. He's gone down again, Martial. Again, nothing given. It wasn't as dramatic as last time. Here's Young into the box, slithered away by Messina. And Watford will look to complete the clearance with Roberto Pereira, who manages to get the ball down the line to Abdoulaye Doucouré. Up it goes towards Troy Deeney. Deeney turning and looking for support. Doucouré provides it, and now it's Deulofeu. Jones should get there and sprints across and gets the ball out of play. Watford want to take the throw quickly. They're not able to at the moment. It's with Doucouré, who finds Roberto Pereira, who started the season in a flurry of goals, but they've dried up a little bit. Doucouré's cross. Deeney does well to take the ball out of the air, and indeed to find Yanmar, who shoots, and it hits Phil Jones, who was in the right place to block. And again, there's danger for Watford as United look to counter. Paul Pogba in space in centre midfield, releases Ashley Young. Ashley Young right hand side. Rashford once again looking to go round Foster. He has done. He gets it back into the box, and Kabasele just about manages to keep possession of the ball. Rashford knew he couldn't score from the tight angle. There weren't too many United players in the box, to be fair. It's end to end now with Doucouré trying to get beyond Jones. He's done that. It's Abdoulaye Doucouré for Watford finding Will Hughes. Hughes return pass is blocked. It might break for Deeney, and then Hughes just knocked it away from Deeney. Here's Pereira for Watford. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Deulofeu wants to shoot, curls it in, headed away by Jones to Mata, whose cushion ball finds Pogba. It's end to end at the moment as we approach half time. Paul Pogba for Manchester United finding Juan Mata. Now Rashford, edge of the penalty area, wants to shoot onto his left foot. It's Rashford, he delays and then plays a really poor ball, and Will Hughes is there to get the ball away. I'm not quite sure what Rashford was trying to do there.
Me neither. It's end-to-end stuff. Honestly, it's frantic, and at both penalty boxes, just that final ball, that final touch isn't good enough. Watford did fantastic to get into the box. Again, couldn't get the ball out their feet to create a chance. The reason why it's so open now is because of Man United's goal. You see Watford's defence have dropped back 5 yards, so their midfield area now is so open. Look at the space the Man United players are getting the time on the ball. They weren't getting that early on in the game.
Ashley Young's cross is deflected towards Juan Mata. They're saying handball. The Manchester United fans, the whistle blows, but not for that. It's blown, I think, for a shove by Mata as he went for that deflected cross, or is it an offside maybe? I think it might be an offside against Rashford, I'm not sure, but we're just looking again at Rashford's chance. I mean, Martial doesn't really gamble there, does he? No. He hangs back, he doesn't come to the pace of the ball,
he doesn't. Because I don't think he thinks that, I don't think he really thought Rashford would get the ball, because he should have been closer to the 6-yard box. Then it's an easy cutback.
We've now got an injury to Ashley Young, who's sitting down on the deck. He was absent from the Wolves game in the cut through suspension back today. He's clearly got a problem with his left ankle. It's one of those where I must admit I didn't see what led to the
may have been in that collision he had.
It might have been when he played the cross in, but so we've got another slight stoppage. Give you a chance to run you through the other scores as they stand as we approach half-time on this Premier League Saturday afternoon. Fulham 0, Manchester City 2 is a full-time score. Bernardo Silva on 5 minutes, Sergio Aguero on 27, comfortable for City. The second half, I understand, was pretty forgettable as City just did what they had to do, basically. Fulham are a step closer to relegation, and rather like Huddersfield, could go this week. Burnley are winning. If they win and Southampton win, and Fulham lose at Watford on Tuesday, Fulham will go down. So we could have two sides down in the next few days. Brighton 0, Southampton 0, Burnley 1, Wolves 0, Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0, still Palace 0, Huddersfield 0. Huddersfield won't go down unless they actually lose that game. We have the ball back in play after that treatment to Ashley Young. Manchester United may well, given the close proximity to half-time, just have another look at Young when they get him back into the dressing room at the interval. I mean, they're losing 1-0, but Javi Gracia will be watching this with a Wembley semi-final ahead of him, thinking, you know, we've done pretty well, and
been a great performance.
If we play like this against Wolves, we're going to have half a chance.
But they've got to take their chances and defend properly.
Well, they've got a set piece here. It's Gerard Deulofeu into the
great
box, and the header by Smalling was a terrific one under pressure from Miguel Britos. He's had a good game, Smalling, at the heart of the United defence.
Great defensive header, I've got to say, because that looked a decent ball.
It was a good ball,
and he gets himself across.
Yeah,
it's a great
really good defensive header. It's a corner to Watford. Final minute of the 45, but I imagine there might be maybe even 3 or 4 minutes added on for stoppages. Deulofeu will take these. He's got his gloves back on now. He takes the corner. It's not a good one. It's scraped away at the near post by Rashford, then wasted by Martial.
Not been great, Martial.
No.
He's not really been consistent in the game.
No, he's another one who you got the impression was unhappy under Mourinho.
He seems an emotional player. You know, he plays when the mood is right for him.
I agree, but that's not really enough, is it?
It's not enough, no. Because
you have to be better than that at this level, I think.
Well, that means if the sun rises in the east and he gets his ready, Brett, he'll play. Do you know what I mean? But if it doesn't happen, we're in a bit of trouble. And
you just wonder whether he's a slightly self-indulgent figure.
At this level, you can't.
No. Here's Pereira. That's a lovely ball, crossfield. Daryl Janmar. He's just about kept it in. He was thinking about his next pass.
You're quite right.
Under his foot. We've all been there. 3 minutes has been added on at Old Trafford. Manchester United leading by a goal to 0 in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game as full-time boss. They haven't had it their own way at all. They've been better since they scored on 28 minutes, but prior to that, Watford were by some distance the better team, but couldn't take any chances. Here's Janmaat again on the far side, trying to find Doucouré, cut out by Jones. Now here's Paul Pogba. That's a nice change in direction by him. He's left it for Mata. It's back with Pogba now. Pogba inside the Watford half finds Mata, who tries to turn. Messina gets it away from him, and Ben Foster pounces on the loose ball. Foster having made one stupendous save to keep out Martial earlier.
Good movement from Mata, I've got to say. But then this bit here, He hasn't got enough strength to be able to hold anyone off.
Here's Delafeu at the other end coming forward. It's Gerard Delafeu. We can't quite find space for a shot, and again, Watford on the back foot. It's like a basketball game at the moment.
It really is.
Up and down, up and down. Anthony Martial, far side, looking to take on.
That's terrible.
Janmark, but only succeeds in crossing straight at Capu, who's gratefully able to just push the ball forward to his partner, Doucouré. He finds Herrera, clipping it away towards Deeney. Deeney does win the ball above Smalling, no foul.
It's not a foul. I don't know what Smalling's going on about. It's not a foul. The game is too open now, and both managers will not be happy with this because no team has control over the game. It's sort of, like you said, basketball. You attack, we attack, you attack. This will suit Man United with your Martials and your Rashfords.
Absolutely. Watford aren't the best at defending that sort of situation. Bournemouth unpicked them earlier in the season with King and Wilson. Here's Delafeu, might have been just offside. Watford have lost their last 2 away games heavily. Liverpool 5-0, Manchester City 3-1, but those are the top 2, and it's never easy. But
they've got to dig in now. Manchester United, that's what they did in the first 25 minutes. They dug in, defended, and got a bit lucky, rode their luck, and then when the chance came, they took it.
I mean, it was a quality goal. There's no denying that, and I think we said it, didn't we? You know, United don't necessarily have to play well against the likes of Watford to get a chance, which they can take, and that's exactly what's happened. Crossfield ball is a good one to Ashley Young. Lovely control by Young. Played in the Premier League for Watford in the 2006-07 season under Adi Boothroyd, and he's been fouled here, and United have a free kick. They might just have time to take it. We've had nearly the 3 minutes to be added on.
It's a foul. He plays for it.
Pushed by Pereira.
He plays for it.
So there may be just time for one more shot. Pereira and Young are having a little smile and a joke about it. Not sure in which language, presumably English. I'm not sure Young would be fluent in Spanish, but anyway, Pereira just needs to get out of the way because he's standing right on the ball with a free kick about to be taken. He obviously has to be 10 yards back and the spray will come out.
Oh no, they can't take it early. Not till the ref sprayed his spray.
I quite like the spray, actually, to be honest, because what it's done, it's just ended that charade of the wall being pushed backwards inch by inch. Here's Mata. Watford need to concentrate here. Smalling far post. Good defensive header by Kabasele, and that's the last action of a first half in which United lead, but haven't really overall been the better team. Watford were terrific for 28 minutes, but then Marcus Rashford ran onto a sumptuous ball by Luke Shaw and dinked the ball home beyond Ben Foster, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer makes his way back for his first official team talk as Manchester United manager, no doubt with a lot to say. They have a lead, but they haven't been great. It's Manchester United 1, Watford 0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. Is the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends a shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
Welcome back. Half-time at Old Trafford. Manchester United leading, but overall, Watford, you could argue, the better team in the opening 45 minutes. But will that Rashford goal be added to in the second by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his first game in charge? One of a number of games being played up and down the country today. Let's round you up with all the highlights and action so far on this Premier League Saturday.
Free kick's lofted in. Wood's got in behind. Chance here for 1-0. It is 1-0. Well, Wolverhampton Wanderers were asleep. 80 seconds on the clock. One quick free kick taken very quickly. Wood steals in behind the back four. Steals the ball past the keeper, Patricio, as he comes out. Rolls it goalwards. And the defenders can't keep it out. It's 1-0 to Burnley.
There's a chance for Chilwell. Will he try a shot? You see where it's flicked in? And it's a goal! The first goal to Leicester City by the restored captain, Wes Morgan. The ball was powered in from the edge of the box, and he just flicked it.